to you. Good morning. Good morning. Somebody live to see another day. How y'all doing? Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. Hey y'all. I am here with my girlfriend. That's Crystal. Some of
Hi.
you all know her as Apostle Willingham.
Willingham,
Willingham.
the British.
We've been saying Willingham forever, but we figured it out. So
Now I can really be bougie.
yeah, now you can really be beautiful. Beautiful and bougie. Hey, Claude. Good morning. Good morning, everybody.
Hey,
Good
Claude.
morning as you guys come in. Say good morning to my YouTube family who's going to be watching this a little bit later. I want to say
Hello,
hello.
YouTube.
Thank y'all for coming and hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it. If you are not on a YouTube, if you have not gone to subscribe to the Madam CEO TV channel, make sure that you go over there. Don't just go there and like it. You gotta like it and subscribe. It ain't like Facebook. So I want you guys to go on over there. I was trying to have some mood music, y'all. I had playing in my head, but can I tell you, it was not trying to work. I just wanted to play In the Sanctuary. Y'all know that song? Y'all know that song? Hey,
Who's that by?
Shawana.
Who's that by?
I think it's by
I
uh
forgot.
what is it? I think it's by Martha Music.
Yes.
I think. Good morning, Christy. Good morning, Jessica. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Can I tell you, we are dragging out of the bed today. It's been a long. Yesterday was probably the longest day in American history for us. It
Yeah.
was long,
Yeah.
but we made it.
You had an extended day.
Listen, that thing. Oh, Jesus. I think I was online. I feel like I was recording a TV show.
That's
So
what it's gonna be like.
I believe that, and I'm expecting. I'm looking forward to it. Well, listen, everybody. We just want to say good morning, and we thank you for being on the morning stretch. Today, we've got a really good topic because what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about how you have to get the components, how to get the components to having godly success. I am always flabbergasted by the way that people relate success and the will and the provisions of God with their ability to actually attain it. And this is not about how to make money, so don't get this twisted today. Success is not only in the areas of your finances. Success is in so many areas, and today we're going to talk about it. I do want to give you a couple of church announcements, but before I do that, for those of you all, this is the first time you're coming. I am Bishop Tier Wilson McQuarrie. I want to welcome you to the morning stretch. This is a time where you and I we come together and we hang out and we talk about what is it that God wants to do to help us get in our word that He has given us for this year
Yeah.
in alignment with what His perfect will for our life is. And a lot of times we don't realize what that is. And I really believe that based on the Spirit of God and what He has placed in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, as I'm growing in Him, even being a pastor, now retired pastor for 17 and a half years, bishop in the Lord's church. Next week, it's going to be, I think it's going to be 8 years, I think. And
Wow.
being in full-time ministry for 23 years, I have learned that I still have a responsibility to grow. I still have a responsibility to stretch. I still have a responsibility to make sure that I am being the kind of person that God wants me to be at this place in my life. Many of you all know when I retired, I could not have imagined in 100 dad blasted years that I would not be pastoring. You could not have told me that when I went and got that degree. You could not have told me that when I uprooted my family to go to school. You could not have told me when I was sitting there in them board. But there came a time when God said, I'm not firing you. I'm transitioning you to another assignment. And I'm going to give you great success there. And a lot of us think that we can only get success doing one thing. And that is not true. Or here's a bigger thing. Most of the people think it can never happen to me. It's for somebody else. And I really want to get a chance to speak to your spirit, speak to your heart today, and really help you understand. Okay, that's gone. To help you understand what we're supposed to be doing. Can you do, can the same time simultaneously, can you pull up something else? Can you pull up my Facebook page for me?
Sure.
So that I can, I want to make sure that we stay right on track because I got a sneaky suspicion that we might be veering off today. But I want to give you one church announcement real quick. I want to make sure. Good morning, Arnessa. Good morning to everyone. Let me say back good morning. Good morning, Teresa, Sarah, Shawana, Christy, Jessica, Melissa. Good morning to all of you, Zelda. Everybody that's here, do me a favor and hey, Pastor Tamika, do me a favor, go on and share this. Again, we are definitely talking about. Yeah, there we go. We're talking about godly success, how it requires reprogramming in your life. And she's going to chime in today. I really want to help y'all understand that God is requiring, in order to meet the specifications of having a successful and blessed life, He's requiring that we reprogram our lives. A lot of us don't realize how convoluted our thinking is. Can I give you guys a simple example? And do me a favor, go on and share this. Go on and share this right where you are. Good morning to my YouTube family. Who is that? Is that Styles by Lisa on here? Let me know who this is on my YouTube. I really want to know. Put it in the comments. I don't know if we can actually see the comments. I think that we can. Yeah, we can on the live on YouTube. I really want to know why people have this mentality. Now, here's the thing. I know the answer because I had it. But let me give you an example. When I got associated with some of the new circle of friends and influence, yes, it is you. Thank you. Good morning, baby. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Sharon.
I got a moment when God had to teach me this simple lesson, and it was so stupid. I felt so dumb afterwards. Now, this is just me. I'm not saying that you dumb. I'm talking about tear. Y'all know I always talk about myself. And God had exposed us to some really, really good new friends. And my mentor, Dr. Ivy Hilliard, Bishop Hilliard. And so when Bishop said, I want y'all to come and stay with me at the house. Now, first off, when I think of a house, I think of, my house is about 5,000 square feet. We got a nice little house, little pool, a couple little fish in the back. The house is 28.
A hotel, huh?
That's exactly what a whole hotel. It was 28,000 square feet. And I was like, in my head, my preconditioned mind said, whoa, 2 people live in all of this? What do you need that for? And immediately God said, the houses are mine. The land is mine. It's all mine. If you got the faith to believe it and you implement the strategy that I give you, all things are possible. The problem is you never asked for it. So I never gave you, now let me put this way. I don't want to say it the wrong way. I did not release what I put on the inside of you to be activated at this time to supply what your faith required.
Now you talking.
Wow.
Right here. You in my morning. We talked about that. Me and the Lord. We talked about your thoughts and what you're speaking with your mouth and what you're actually asking for. The door would be open.
That's what it says.
But
and it says, seeking you shall find.
Exactly. So how are you knocking and how are you seeking? What are you knocking? What door are you knocking on? And what are you seeking?
I want to know this, Crystal. How do you seek for something you don't even realize you can have tangible access to?
See, and that's when God said, I need to anoint your imagination. That's when He told me that. He said, I need to anoint your imagination.
I need to see your notes from this morning.
This is what I asked the Lord. I said, well, God, give me the gift of faith that is matching the imagination you're giving me.
Wow.
So
wait a minute, say that again. Y'all listen to this prayer. Listen to this simple, quick prayer. What you said, God, give me the gift of faith that matches
the imagination that you give me.
The imagination that you give me. Do y'all remember being little kids?
Come on.
And you could you could imagine being an astronaut. You can imagine being a supermodel. You could imagine whatever you saw an example of, that you would allow yourself to imagine yourself doing. Whether it was a business owner, whether it was a daddy, whether it was somebody who made clothing, maybe it was somebody who was like grandma who loved to cook and in the neighborhood loved to come over, and you now like to be a hostess or a host. Maybe it was to learn how to be a restaurateur because you went to your favorite restaurant was Mickey D's and you got that that Happy Meal with that orange pop with the cheese and that.
Oh, girl.
Listen, I wanted to be a McDonald's franchisee because I knew as a kid, I could get all the hamburgers that I wanted. So our imagination did not tell us no.
Not as a child. That's why God said, come to me as a little child. But this is what the enemy does. He comes and he plants those seeds of doubt and he steals your imagination.
Come on.
The Bible says he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So when you think about what you imagine as a child, all your circumstances, situations
Mm-hmm.
happen, and steal your imagination
And you know
and
what?
kill it.
You know what helps it? The world. And let me
Mm-hmm.
say, I ain't talking about the church versus the world. I'm talking about the world. The world's problems are illuminated and propagated more than what's going on. Do you realize that? And can I say this? And I'm gonna say this. And I'm not a politician, but let me say this. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Then we're gonna go to another example with the airplane. Remind me to tell you about the airplane.
Okay.
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 So what happened was I looked at LeBron James. Many of you all know that he started Promise School. It is a privately funded public school, which if the kids finish school, they will actually get an opportunity to go to Akron University, which is near my hometown, Cleveland, Ohio. He's paying for the mothers to get back in, the parents to get back in school if they want to go to school. He's paying for the kids when they graduate to get a 4-year degree,
Yep.
and he's highly paying the teachers. Now, here's the thing: the president, not my president, maybe you voted for him, the president of the United States, 45,
Had the nerve.
had the nerve to come on and say, you know why? Not because he had a problem with it, because listen, his wife is open to go and sit down and talk to LeBron and celebrate him. But Donald is not. You know why? Because the attention is not on him. The imagination that he has is that he is the most important conversation. We get around people that even when you have something that you're doing absolutely wonderful in, when you have a dream, when you have a desire to do it, and you happen to mention it for people, and somebody comes and they try to, the enemy uses them to try to destroy your credibility, to try to destroy the likelihood of it happening, to put something in the minds of people, and before you know it, you be like, well, maybe I can't do it because the people who I think would be there to support me, to love on me, to say, yeah, do this thing. I believe in God with you. Now they're going and they're listening to what's begin to think, well, maybe you can't do it. Maybe this is not the right time. Or they ask the all famous question, how you gonna do that? Where you gonna get the money from to do that?
Sometimes you ask yourself that question before you do that, God. Where you get the money
Yes.
to do that, God?
Sharon say, not my president. I know that's right, Sharon. Not my president either. Obama, my president. He gonna always be my president till we get somebody in there I can actually feel okay claiming. And no, I didn't expect him to save the black people. That was not in his campaign. He said, yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
And instead we wanted him, yes, you can. But we all can do this.
You got to put the work in, people.
That's right. And so when we're talking about how we have to reprogram our mind, another example was, and this is common, and this is what I was saying, too many things on. Let's see. I think, okay, there we go. Here, okay, there we go. God, amen. We're back. And so I remember when me and my husband, we first started, I tell you, it was pretty amazing. We had another friend, I won't mention his name, because I'm sure he would want us to mention his name. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
And what happened was, he said, Terrence, look, I just got 2 jets. Come on and sit down here. And before this, it was so funny.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
He got 2 jets. He got a Boeing 7. Is that Scott? Oh, that's his son. I think it was a 727, a small Boeing. And then he had a G something. I think a G660, something like that. But he had the bigger plane for his staff, and he had the smaller plane, which still accommodated about 18 people. Yeah, He had that, and that was for his to travel. So he said, I want you to come and sit on both of the planes. And I looked at my husband, he looked at me. You know why? Not because I couldn't get on it. Not, and this is what he told us. He said, anytime you want to use my jet, anytime, you got my phone number, just call me. You know what I thought in my head? Y'all rebuke me later. You rebuke me later. I said, shoot, well, how much does it cost to get on? He said, well, from Maryland to Cleveland, and I come and pick you up in Cleveland, we're going down to Houston. He said, that's going to be about $10,000. That's the fuel. He was paying for one. He was going to pay for the way back. We were just going to pay for one leg, and he was going to pay for his own pilot. All right, and the food, because you have a whole staff on there.
Right.
I got to thinking, I could get on Delta Airlines for $420. And I ain't even got to sit in first class. I said, well, let me get my mind together. Let me check first class. First class was $1,500. I said, you know what? Okay, for $3,000. Which is $8,000 cheaper than what he talking about. I can get on I can go to Bermuda. I can go several places. I take my whole family for 10 grand round trip and hotel. But I want y'all to hear me. That's logical when I'm leaning to my own understanding. But what I didn't recognize, Crystal, was God was seeing me for kingdom and millionaire mindset status.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had already earned my first 7 figures, but I was like this.
Hold on. Hold on.
My money. That's my kids' college money.
Hold
We
on
got to
to
pay
your
our
7
house note.
figures.
Listen, I was holding on for dear life.
Wow.
And I couldn't even with 7 figures, I couldn't even see it. I couldn't even, how is it that I couldn't even see my, and here, Dr. Hill, he said, I know some of y'all thinking, he said this in a conversation we were having. He said, I know some of y'all are thinking, well, the back of a plane arrives at the same time the front of the plane does. Why I need to worry about trying to get on the first class? He was said, I'm not even telling you got to get your own jet. Just give yourself the on in first class.
I'm gonna sit in one of those pods in first class. If
Listen,
the first class
listen. I can't wait to go to the and get on that plane.
Goodness.
And here's the thing: first class is good, girl. First class is wonderful. Now I do it all the time.
The pod is just wonderful.
But it's even there. They give you steak, and if you're going on a transcontinental flight, they give you steak and they give you lobster and they give you free cocktails if that's what you're into. And you get special privileges that other people don't have. Listen, let me explain something to you. Am I saying that you guys need to do that? No, I'm just using an example of where I was and how God literally, hey Ty, how God literally had to transform my mind. So the back of the plane gets there at the same time as the front of the plane. And I promise you, my plane that I'm on is the same size as this 727. To my friend here says, hey, you can have my plane, not rent it. Just pay for the fuel. I know y'all got it. And here I'm saying, God, help me with my mindset, because I'm thinking I'm a saver. I'm really, really good at saving money. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking, why would I go and spend that kind of money? And God had to say, when are you going to shift? You have to start reprogramming your mind to not think, like an employee. Mm-hmm. You know, Robert Kiyosaki talks about the right and the left quadrant of the world. On the left side of the quadrant of most of the United States are people who are employees. That's 60%. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so 70, 80, 90, 100, the other 40%, I'm sorry, the other, and then there's 30% are people that are their own bosses. Like, you know, you and I, doctors, lawyers, things like that. We work for ourselves. But here's the thing. If we don't go to work, the people that work for us, they don't eat and we don't eat. If the doctor don't operate, guess what? Ain't nobody gonna get fed. All right. But then you have 9% that's on the right hand side of the quadrant that are investors that will go and buy a jet and see that they can charter it. And while they somewhere laying on the beach in Acapulco, or they in their office, the jet is paying for itself. But then but then you have that 1%, and I'm about to talk to y'all about that.
Right.
That 1% who's usually the elite. Only 1% of the 1% are of another persuasion outside of Caucasian. So I got Caucasian friends. I've got people literally to watch me from literally all over the world. So I'm not specifying about color. I'm specifying about a mindset that most of us have been preconditioned, the 90%, I mean the 60% of us, to be employee minded. The whole system is set up that way. Yeah. You go to school, you graduate, you get a trade or job, and you do that until you retire, 35 years, and then you die. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not talking about money. I want y'all to hear me good this morning. That's life. And what happens is God said, who told you that? I remember talking to a dear friend's mother, and she said, well, you know, I have my Social Security check, I got my disability check, and I'm on a fixed income. And God so quickly, he said, ask her one question. Who fixed it? And she said, what you mean? She says, I worked in the medical field all my adult life. I have a good life. And I said, but could God provide better for you? And she said, well, yes, I can. I said, well, you're 65. Who told you had to retire? Well, all of my friends retired. I said, they all got your same unprogrammed mindset. When you look and you see, hey, I want to go somewhere, because we took her to Aruba. Wow. For my wedding. Wow. And I didn't take her. She paid to go. She paid for her own flight. But before we had this conversation, she was saying, I can't go to Aruba. And she always said how she wanted to go. And I said, you deserve it. You have worked hard. You have raised an amazing child who is an amazing prodigy, a brilliant mind, changing the world, changing lives. And you mean to tell me you don't even want to go? I said, you're not getting any younger. You only live once. I said, come on.
That's
I said,
right.
just look to see how much a plane ticket is. She called me. She said, Bishop, I found a good plane ticket. So me and my daughter, we're going to come to your wedding in Aruba. I said, you know what? And I'm going to make sure you get to hook up you everything you need. And she came for reminding me that I can have an abundant life. Let me help y'all understand something.
That's the part we don't get to.
That's it. The Bible says that Jesus said that I come to give you life. Okay.
And that.
He said, so we got
And
two
that.
choices. We got life
And that.
and that.
More.
More abundantly. But then there's another thing, there's another scripture that says how we can choose life.
See, you're my devotion again.
We don't choose life. We don't choose that kind, and that's what I'm talking about. Godly success, success in your the way you think, success in how you move, success in your health. Can you have success in your health? You sure can.
But it's a choice.
It is a choice.
The one of the most powerful tools that God gave anything. I used to think it was just mankind, but it's not. I was sitting outside and I watched a bird go from one tree to the next. This bird chose to go from one tree to the next. Anything that has life in it has the ability to choose.
That's
the biggest and best tool in your belt, the power to choose. And when you make a choice,
God honors that choice.
He does.
So if
no matter what it is.
That's right. So if you choose, you know what? I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to get out of this flat. I had one young lady, and some of y'all are probably, and please go in and share this. I had one young lady. She came to me. She came and we were sitting down, and these are young girls, and they were dreaming. We talked about the power of your dreams and how you can achieve anything. And we went around the room, and the young girls, and they said, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a fashion model. I want to be a fashion designer. I want to be a blogger. They had different things that they wanted to be. And one girl said, I know what I want to be. I want to be the owner of a flat. And I was thinking, a flat. When you think of a flat, New York has it. Yeah, I'm from right. Yeah. Or maybe a two-story loft or something like that. They call it a flat because you have a whole floor. But what this baby was talking about, she said, I want a flat. You know what a flat was? She wanted a section. And I said, okay. My eyes kind of got big, and I don't know if she thought that was good or bad. And I caught myself. I said, explain to me what a flat is. She said, okay, so a flat is just like, in an apartment building, like my mother has one, my grandmother has one, my aunt has one, my sister has one. So I want to have my own. So I'm going to have a baby because, you got to have, the reason to have it. And you get a check, and then you get your own flat, and they put it through a lottery system. And then you only have to pay for, let's see. I'm sorry. Okay. You only have to pay for, what was it? I think maybe $30 a month or something. They tell you on the sliding scale.
30% of any income you have.
Okay. Yes.
Subsidized house.
Right. So what ended up happening was I'm sitting and I'm saying, okay, God, give me the finesse to say what I need to say to this baby and not break her, because that is her goal. So he said, help her be familiarized with renewing her mind. Because the Bible says we have to be renewed in the spirit of our mind, or one translation says in the power of
transformation begins.
Yes. And I said, right. And I said, sweetheart, I said, if you decided that you wanted to have a little bit more than a flat, what would that look like? And then she said, oh, I can imagine me having a whole lot of flats. I said, so what about it that you like? She says, I imagine having a mansion. She said, what you mean? Like Fresh Prince? I said, yes. She said, oh, yeah, I can imagine that. And all of us with me balling out. I said, you got it. She imagined the thing. She said, but I don't know how I can get that because, none of us went to college. I said, most of the multimillionaires I know, they didn't finish college. I'm not telling you don't go to college.
Please go.
Because I want you to get education. Yes. I want you to be skillful. Yes. I want you to be somebody that if it's required, you can say, I've got my master's degree. I got my PhD. I've got my training certificate. I'm a licensed therapist. I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I'm a film director. You can actually say this and say, I've got the receipts, right? Even me as a business coach, I still have my license as a life coach. I went and I have my license. I don't tell many people, but I have it. And so I said, that's right. And I said, God, help me to have the right words to frame at all times people who need to understand that your idea of success for them is not exactly what it is we have been trained
Right.
to do.
Exactly.
And this is, ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, is that we slide back, not only backslide in sin. I'm not talking about sin. I say this: if we focus in on pleasing God, we ain't got to worry about the sin issue. But we backslide in the mindset that God wants us to have. Remember, this is the morning stretch, and if this is blessing you, please make sure that you go on and use, excuse me, I'm so sorry, using the Cash App. Okay, the Cash App, and you use the $, my first name Tier, or you can go and use PayPal, paypal.me/Tier McCrary. It's actually in the pinned comments. And so I don't know if Jessica's on here, but if somebody can put that below. But let me explain something to y'all. A lot of us, we will look at other people. We will look at their success. We'll say, wow, I would love that, secretly in our head. But we don't realize that God ain't no respecter of person.
He said he reigns on the
Just and the unjust. So that's not
say
even
right
the
there.
saved, and that's the saved and the unsaved. People who have a
What he's saying is that he allows the same
Hey, Elder
access to
Roger.
all. That's what he's saying. So God is not saying I'm choosing to bless just and unjust. What he's saying is that everybody has access to basic principles of faith. And those basic principles of faith ignite an imagination, and what you imagine you can obtain. Everybody can do that.
But the problem is we don't believe it because it's not something that we can do with our own hand. Well, here's the thing. Hello there. Many of the things that God exposed to me to even get me where I am, it's not because necessarily I had the proper positioning, even if I had the money. Because you can have some money and you still don't have the know. Perfect example. Scott and I, we started trading on the Forex market, cryptocurrency. I had the money, but I did not have the access. I didn't know how to do it. I didn't have a seven-figure earner to come and say, Tier, listen, I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to walk you through the process. I didn't have that. So although I may have access to having the greatest doctors to help me get the kind of help that I need for my body, but if I don't know who the greatest doctors are, or nobody that knows them, or access to Google, I won't ever get an opportunity to get seen by that doctor to help me. And so it's really about exposure, but God is not going to give you exposure if you don't even have the desire to ask him for it. And here's the thing, be consistent. Most of us, our mindset is so
In and out,
over
in
the
and
place.
out, in
Thank
and
you,
out, in
Elder
and out.
Broderick, for sowing your seed, man of God. I
and out.
believe God. You know me. I am believing God for a receipt today. Let us know what God has been doing in your life in the last 24 hours. And so here's the thing. We ask God, God, I'm believing you for a house. I'm believing you for a house. But then you go and you mess up your credit or don't fix your credit.
You
Then-
stop believing.
that's right.
You stop asking.
That's it. You got your natural, and you're like, this is what I can do. But what about getting God involved and saying, God, how can I partner with you so that your kingdom can be seen in my life? How can I partner with you? Not you partner with me. How can I partner with you to access this good life you said I'm going to have? How can I partner with you to make sure that my body is always healed? How can I partner with you so that I can begin to access the wisdom and the guidance that I need to not give up on my marriage? How can I partner with you to pray my kids through this rough season? How can I partner with you? How can I partner with you so I can get around the right people to help me build my faith, to expose me to a better life, to expose me to, yes, I know that it's possible, but you know what? Sometimes I just need to sit at the table. Sometimes I need to wrap somebody else's fur coat around my shoulder so I know what it feels like. Sometimes I need to get in somebody else's airplane and I need to sit and I'll be like, whoo, these cashmere seats is all right, with a little bit of suede in the middle. Yes, it is, with a big old S on it.
Oh, my Lord.
Listen, sitting there with caviar, which I absolutely hate.
I
With
love
caviar.
caviar.
Listen, with
Yes.
caviar. Yes, I get excited when you say caviar. Wow.
Okay.
I hate that. So she likes it. I hate it.
that.
It's so disgusting.
Caviar.
But you
Okay.
know, what? Here's the thing. if we're going to have the God kind of success, that he's going to inquire of, oh, Jesus, okay, let me back this up. That he's going to inquire of us. See, a lot of people will say, you think when you go see God, he just going to say, hey, well done, my good and faithful servant. But let's look at me backtrack a little bit. What is he going to be talking about well done about? What are you talking about well done about? The things that he has given
The
you.
fullness of your life is what he's talking about. We only equate that to ministering and winning souls. That is a big part of it, because if your life is not attracting people to add to the kingdom, then we need to go back and start over again anyway. That is a given. It's the fullness of your life that he's saying, well done, thy good and faithful servant. That's what God is looking for. He's looking for you to fulfill in the greatest capacity that you possibly can.
That you can, not somebody else. You.
That life that he gave you. That's what he's looking for. And so what we have failed to realize is we put God in this one little smidgen of an area in your life when he's here for the whole
spiritual life.
Like you just
we
said.
Put him in the spiritual life box.
That's it. But he said, I came that you might have life and that more. There's more after salvation, after the cross. See, typically we stay there.
Yeah.
We just stay at the cross. And we hope that we make it in, and we wait for the second coming.
But when you make it in, this is my question: what is he going to say? Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about you winning souls. The Bible says, "Him that wins souls are wise." Mm-hmm. But he also talks about how the rich are wise.
That's right.
He also talks about how the children of darkness are wiser than the children of light. Why? Here's the thing: the attractor. You know what attracted the world to Jesus? The success rate that he had at healing the sick, raising the dead, opening blinded eyes. He was a success, and guess who he had put around him? Other successful businessmen. He
didn't go in the synagogue and get nothing.
Come on, not priests, not one priest,
one of them,
not one rabbi,
not nan one.
He did not do
that.
Not now.
Not now.
I don't know how to spell that, but not now. One. You know what? You know what he did? He went in and he got men who said, you know what? I am not afraid to put in the work. Let's go to the story.
He found unbelievers. I mean, these people were not believers.
And that's how the Bible says we're supposed to go into the hedges and highways and compel men to come. What is the best way we can compel people to do something? We have receipts. The best way I can say, girl, I can show you how to make $10,000 with your phone. The best way I can do it, you know what I can do? I can open up my phone and show you how to do it. The best way I can say, girl, I can show you how you can start your own business with $100 or less and the internet. You're going to say, wait a minute. Okay, let me sit down. But wait a minute. They'll say, ain't no way you can do that. She lying.
You cancel it right away.
That's it. She lying. Can't be done.
Instead of at least going to investigate, because here's a funny thing I found out. Even if you don't think a person can do it and you go research it, how would you know there's a better way if you don't even find out? God may download that to you.
Right.
But you won't even give it a chance and go research it.
So you're talking yourself out of the success that God has in store. So when you go to heaven and he says, okay, he's going to have the same conversation he had with the three that the man in the parable had with the three. He gave 5 abilities. He gave 3 abilities. He gave 1. Talents. Talents is abilities. He says, I've given you the ability. Okay. So let's talk about money, because that resonates with most people. All right. I've given you the ability to get wealth. All right. To establish his covenant that he made to Abraham. All right. So here's the thing. You get to heaven. Okay. Now, I gave you the ability to take your gift and your talent. And instead of, let's use Elder Broderick. Elder Broderick has a commercial cleaning company. Elder Broderick, somebody might say, well, okay, I don't do what Elder Broderick does, so I may not have the same success. But what Elder Broderick is, when he goes to heaven, he's going to say, well, God, the business that you gave me and my wife is I don't know all the things that she does, but I know one of the things, honey, she sets up an event that's absolutely beautiful. Oh. She's excellent at it. Awesome. And he has a commercial cleaning business. But you cannot tell me, Elder Broderick is a pastor. You cannot tell me that his disposition, I know his his spirit. When he goes into places and he gets these big contracts because now God trusts him with that because he's been faithful over a few things. Now Elder Broderick is... He's a sower for one. He's a man of God. That means he's a man of faith. I ain't talking about his preacher potential. I'm not talking about his title. I'm talking about his walk. And then he actually is a doer of the word. You cannot tell me that he's not going in as his own CEO and he's sharing the power of God, the testimony of God. And listen, let me tell you something. He's so smooth with it. What he does is when he goes with his job and he's cleaning, he sets his computer, his phone, his iPad up, and he has me playing the morning stretch at the places where he is, or Madam CEO Live, and they're listening. They want to know who you listening to. So he over at Phipps at Soma,
Oh, really?
and they're the people that are working at Soma are listening to me build their faith and stretch their faith. See, you got to be slick with it. Sometimes the world can't take castor oil. Y'all gotta be old school to know what that is. Sometimes they can't take mercure cone, that red stuff on a cut that burn. Sometimes they can't take codeine. Sometimes they can't take it heavy. But what they can take is the subtle ways that God will give you wisdom to go into places and to say the right thing. It might be, God bless you on the elevator. It might be, hey, how y'all doing? You get on the elevator, hey, everybody. I don't know. And everybody looking down their phones. They looking straight ahead so they got to talk to you. I pray that all of you all have one of the best days you've ever had. And hey, my name is Tira McCoy. Facebook. If you need somebody to pray for you, just go and hit me up as soon as you get to your cubicle. Let me know, and I'm going to pray for you. Listen, just that quick. That's less than 30 seconds.
You know, that's what Jesus did. You remember when he was on the boat? He had took a seat on a boat. Fishermen had been fishing, and they didn't catch anything.
All night they had been fishing.
They didn't catch nothing. So Jesus.
Wait a minute. How do you not listen? I just always wanted to know. How do you in the nighttime is the best time to fish? How do you be in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea?
Don't catch.
That was ordained. That was ordained.
It was a supernatural moment. So Jesus sits in this. He sits in the boat and he begins to talk to the fishermen. So he's talking to the fishermen and having this conversation, and he's pouring into them. These are businessmen. This is their bread and butter, and they're sitting here trying to figure out why I can't catch any fish. This is what I do. I'm a professional. This is how I flow. This is how I pay my rent. This is how I pay my mortgage, my lease. This is how I feed my family. This is what I do in the marketplace. I sell fish, and I can't catch one. And here comes Jesus, and he sits down and has a conversation. And then after he's done, do you know what he did? He said, "I'll go catch some fish."
But wait a minute.
And they said, wait a minute, we was out here all night. But this is what caught them. What he gave them has so much substance.
And it was so simple.
And it was so simple and so rich that they trusted him. Jesus wasn't a fisherman, he was a carpenter, but he was a businessman.
And they may not, I can't say that they even knew him, other than most people said that is.
Joseph was dead by then. So there was a legacy that had been left behind. And so now they're saying, well, if he knows what he's doing as a businessman, then let's go out here and fish. And what Jesus did was so supernatural that they had enough for themselves. And they had to go get their boys and say, come out here and fish, y'all. We can't. Their nets were breaking.
You know, that was Peter. You know, Peter was cussing.
Okay. The one thug in the group.
Wait a minute. This man, wait a minute, who is he? He gonna come and he just came in, he probably hungry. Okay, but then something triggered. He said, you know what? We've tried everything. Here's the thing. When you get to the point where you say, I've tried everything else. I know that the word God says that he wants me to have an abundant life. I know that the word says that I am healed from the crown of my head to the sole of my feet. I know the word says I come behind in no good thing, but I'm coming behind in everything. I'm not getting the promotions that I want. It seems like it's one thing after the other. I'm constantly dealing with my family. You better go fishing. And let me say this to you, because many times we don't even recognize. We don't even recognize the person or the thing that's going to carry us to the next destination. In order for me to get out of the back of the plane arrives for $400, the same way that the front of the plane does for $1,500. In order for me to get out of that mindset, you know what I had to do? I had to recognize that there was people who were used to bigger fish, that were not used to a fisherman's boat. They were used to having their own yachts.
Man.
So I had to start asking God, literally, I got mad at myself. I said, God, why is it so
You
hard?
need to have that net breaking mentality.
That's it. Why is it so hard for me not only to see me do it, because we don't have a problem seeing ourselves do it. The problem we have is believing that God will do it for us and positioning ourselves when we have an opportunity to get the. Let me say this. I actually know. Many of you all, I know you that through social media. We've seen each other in the streets. You know, we've seen each other at church or whatever. Maybe you see me. I don't know how you know me, but you know me. But I cannot tell you how many people, not that many, have sat down and said, Bishop, can you teach me how to make six figures? Can you teach me how to come up with $1 million idea? Can you teach me how to pray so that I can get the same level of success, since God is no respecter of person? Can you teach me? On this Thursday, I hired a guy full time since I started sewing. Come on, bam, that's a full salary. That's a whole salary
Pastor.
since he started sewing. Listen,
He
let me
just
tell
took the load off of himself.
that's it.
And hired someone else.
And bless somebody else.
Yep.
And now the Bible says we should be lenders and not borrowers. So guess what? Stop, please. So now we have the thing where he is lending an opportunity to make a wage for this other person. So now he's in the seat. Listen, he's going literally from glory to glory. You might say, well, why are you just talking about that? Because I need you guys to see all of us have a job, or we need a job. We got some income coming somewhere. So again, success is just not only in your finances, but now this man is actually able to help. Elder Broderick is able to help somebody else because he saw, wait a minute, I don't need to do this by myself. And that's the thing. We don't have goals.
That's right.
We don't have goals. We just think me, mine, and my for, and no more.
But the pathway to success is not just about you.
That's right.
It never is. If you're doing this for your phone and no more, you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end, God is still going to say, what have you done? And will he say, depart from me, you worker of iniquity, I never knew you? Or will he say, enter into my rest? And so the pathway of success is always about you, the faith to perform it. And then it includes your family, your lineage, your legacy, and anyone else that you can be a blessing to.
And your cat and your dog.
And your cat and your dog. I saw a video yesterday of a lady who takes her daughter to a school, and the teacher catches the bus to school.
I saw that.
Buses,
yes.
And went and bought that woman a car.
And she thought, and wait a minute, and it was a black family, mom and dad, to get gated to a woman that was a Caucasian lady. And you know what? That never came up because it was about this. I'm positioning myself to meet a need that exceeds what you expect. Listen, when Dr. Hilliard said, listen, I know that God to us. So what we're going to do is not act like we don't see it. Come to the house. I remember Dr. Bridger, she said this. She said, how come you ain't came to the house? You were everywhere we had, all over the country. They thought we had a private jet. We didn't have it at that point. And she said, I don't understand. She said, how come you ain't been to the house? I said, Dr. B, you were never invited us. She said, hold on, let me go get my assistant. She went, she said, don't you move. You stay right there. She got her, she said, give me my phone. She got her assistant on the phone. She said, listen, Scott and Tia are coming. When can y'all come? Can y'all come next week? And I'm looking at Scott. Scott looks at me. He said, yeah. Listen, let me tell you something. When greatness, success, people who have, after following through faith and patience, have inherited the promise. You need, if they give you access to them, take it.
Because they're not just giving you access to their stuff.
They're giving you access to their grace, their favor, their
everything.
expertise.
See, and this is the part that people fail to realize, because we're not just talking about stuff. Okay, we're not just talking about cars and jets and things like that's the manifestation of it. Okay, there has to be a physical manifestation to your words and imagination.
Right.
There has to be.
Right.
Okay, there has to be. Yes, we have divine visitations from heaven. I've had them. Yes, we have healing, miracle signs and wonders. Yes, but after you get up off the floor, after miracle signs and wonders happen, after you experience the spiritual side of the glory, what is the manifestation in the natural that you're supposed to be experiencing?
Because we all just want to fall out in the church and say, "Oh, we had the glory," but you got up the same. Your heart is still broken.
Changed. You're still broken. Your spirit is still broken. And so here's the thing: after you get up off, this is what I said about the glory move, because I've been a part of it. And one of the things I noticed, we got into the glory move and we got so drunk and we enjoyed the glory, but then we got done. What was there that we did?
You encountered his presence, but you
You
didn't
didn't
encounter
carry
his
it.
his you that's right. You didn't encounter a way to harness it and
Hmm.
carry it so it began to manifest in every area
There
of your
has to be a
life.
manifestation. And so this is what I realized this morning. I said, you know what, Father, forgive me for now allowing you to manifest the glory that you poured into me out.
You know what? I was when remember you guys those and I say this with humility, so please hear my heart. My husband bought the retreat center, and we are still renovating, and we got a long way to go. But we were going swimming. Not we. I was not going swimming last night. But Crystal and her husband, they have been our retreat guests here. And the crazy thing of it is that Crystal and her husband, they wanted to go swimming. Where our pool, we have a gunite saltwater pool, and it's usually around 89 degrees, right? And it's on a timer. But after 10 o'clock, apparently it starts to cool off. All right. It was still
Yes.
comfortable, but it wasn't warm, and they
Right.
wanted the warm water. And so it's about 30 feet, 6 feet deep inside of my house. It's not outside, it's not in the ground, it's actually in my house. And she said something to me, and I looked back and I said, I still can't get over the fact that I have a
She
pool in
said
my
that when she
house.
walked out. She said, "I still can't get over the fact that there's a pool in my house," and walked out. And you know, the funny part was, I said that to Marlon when you left. I said, "Marlon, did you hear what she said? She still can't believe it's a pool in her house."
Because I remember the day
Hmm.
of looking at Lifestyles of the Rich
Rich
and
and
Famous
famous.
with Robin Leach
Wow.
and saying, I want that. I have one in my computer this picture I've had for 10 years in my
Mm.
computer now. And I was like, God, I want to live like that. I want to
Yep.
be able to have that.
And it's not about everybody knowing about it, but
No,
it's just the fact
that
that the luxuries that God has given the world access to, we
with
have
the kingdom
access
of
to, and
God,
I'm his son.
that's right. We're supposed to, but we it's got to be more than I'm supposed to have it. I'm entitled. It's got to be God.
I'll roll up with that entitlement spirit.
You won't have it. It has to be God. Can you show me how I can be a blessing? It wasn't until that light bulb came on and God said, "This is not your house. This is what I've given you over 10 years ago when you stepped into the Ivy Hilliard's house." He said, "When you stepped into my son's house, I gave you a snapshot, a small snapshot of what God wanted, what I wanted to do in your life." And so I wanted you to begin to dream bigger, because Dr. Hilliard and them, they only live in 5,000 square foot, $24,000 house. I mean, 24 square foot house. You know what they do for the rest? They have other people that come and they retreat there. They become to get whole there. They come to rest there. Every door has somebody else's name on it, and you can have the whatever suite, or you can have the. And then there's 5 houses that's like 2,500 square feet behind us, gorgeous, luxurious, all of them like model houses. We had our own home. He said, when you come here, I want you to rest. And when we open up the door, it starts playing faith-based sermons. All you hear is praise and worship. They created an atmosphere where you can get in the presence of God, where you can come and say, God, I want to live a life where my body is healed. I want to live a life where I can have peace of mind. I don't have chaos all around me. God, can you give me, and this is why I was done, can you give me a $2,500 house? I mean, 2,500 square foot house? Can you? I have an apartment now,
You
and
know,
I'm grateful, but can you give me this? And then when you say, okay, God, I got this, let me lay in this bed, and I had to climb up on the ladder to get in the bed. The bed was so dang on cushy. I ain't never had a bed like that.
oh Father.
And then they have a thing that the chef says, what would you like to eat this morning? Would you like to have prime rib and eggs? And I ain't got to pay for it.
Listen, somebody's watching this either right now or you're gonna watch it on replay. And I'm stepping into your vision because God gave me the same thing. And this is what he said. He showed one day I was on a fast and the Lord gave me a particular street. I thought it was something else. I'm going to give an example because I don't want to give away. The Lord told me, let me get some,
Yolanda, go in my inbox. I'm going to teach you
uh,
and your husband.
Straight and narrow street. Okay, I'm just giving you an example. But he didn't say street, he just said straight and narrow. So I picked up my phone and I began to Google straight and narrow. And I was like, oh, these scriptures, look at, oh, yes. And I'm like, oh, the first day in the fast. You know, I haven't been on it an hour. Oh, God is speaking. And I'm going through here. And the Lord said, that's not what I want you to look up. I said, okay. So I went further down the list of Google. And you know what I found? I found straight and narrow street. Okay. Wow. And so when I opened up the map, I looked at it and I said, wait a minute. I've been on this street before. But the day I was on the street, there was nothing on it. There was a sign on the property that said straight and narrow street, and that was it. Nobody saw the sign but me. This was years prior to God speaking this to me, okay? So I went and looked it up. Come to find out, there is now a straight and narrow street with one house on it. And it's sitting on about 7,000 acres of land. It has 6 rooms in it, with an extra house in the back and still land for development. It's the only house on that street. Okay? And so God says, I need you to believe me for this kind of faith. I need you to match this because this is what I have for you. Okay? So I said, how am I going to pay for that? Remember we talked about that? So how am I going to get that?
That was never the conversation. Some of y'all, some of y'all are trying to interject your ability when God never even brought that up in the conversation.
Nope.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone. Go ahead.
And so what I did, I checked myself maybe a couple of hours later. I said, wait a minute. If God said it, it doesn't matter how. Okay, let me go back to what he was saying to me. The reason I'm saying this to someone right now is because God's shown you something massive. And you think to yourself, who am I to obtain it? Why would he give it to me? All of these questions he's already answered, because if he didn't know, if God didn't want you to believe him for it, he wouldn't have shown it to you. So every question I could possibly come up with, you know what he said? I got the answer for that. Every question that I had, I've got the answer. Do you know my questions were, okay, so when? So how? And then when I went and looked the property up, it was on sale. It was up for sale. So get this, you guys. I'm married. I'm 2 years. I'm a newlywed. And I'm talking to my husband about it. And my husband said, babe, that's our property. He didn't say, how we going to do that, babe? He didn't say, how's that going to happen, babe? You know what my husband said? He said, that's ours. So he jumped into my vision and caught it just like that without blinking and said, that's our vision. That's our house.
How about we take the time to find the vision that God has for us? And how about we jump into God's vision?
That's right.
For us.
That's right.
And stop saying, well, how? And start saying,
he's already answered that.
Just say, God, give me the plan.
He's already answered
You don't
it.
Listen, if I say to my son, Matthew, go to the store and pick me up a rotor-rooter. He don't need to say, well, how? I've given you a car. I've given you the keys. I put gas in the car. You got GPS. Follow GPS over to Home Depot. Get the rotor-rooter and come back home. You know how to come back home. Why is it that we come and we say, okay, God, how am I going to get what you show me? How am I going to start the ministry? How am I going to get married?
Put one foot in front of the other. That's what you do. You put one foot in front of the other. He's already shown you. He says, stop asking him why. Just go and do it. You put one foot in front of the other.
So just ask him, what's the first step? Because he's not going to show you the whole thing, because he knows it'll overwhelm you. You're already having a problem with this. But if you trust, 'tis so sweet to trust in Jesus.
Didn't you sing that yesterday?
Girl, that thing been, listen.
It's
been speaking to me like Kumo D.
I don't know who this is for. I'm serious. I don't know who this is for. But put one foot in front of the other. And then this is what my husband said. I said, but babe, somebody bought it already. He said, money talks. I'll walk up to their house and knock on the front door.
And you know what that acquisition,
cash money.
That acquisition is called in the real estate industry.
Yes.
Make me move. If somebody came up right now, except that this is the fact that God gave us this property, I cannot tell you how many people in this neighborhood since we've been here, because we're here. How many people in this neighborhood has said, you got the biggest house in this, yeah. And one lady said,
I'm talking about that lady that owns everything on the block.
Yeah.
She couldn't even get it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And she lives next door.
Come on
The
here.
judge's wife.
Her family couldn't even get this property.
Listen, when God
And
has
it's
something
it's
for you, and y'all watch the journey, we had gone to over 50 houses. Many of them I took y'all on the live with me. God gave us this property 2 days before Christmas. We had opposition, but guess what? We did it. Why am I saying that? Because anybody else would have said, why don't y'all just give up? You saying God wants you to have a retreat center, but it seemed like it's not working. Every home that we went in was absolutely gorgeous. And it was finished, but it wasn't like this. Bishop, y'all talking to me, just started my church. Apostle called me some years back and warned me that I was the holdup. Husband was ready and was pushing me.
Oh, I remember that.
That was for me. My dream home was on the market. Somebody bought it, but I still said it's mine. Tamika said, I'm screaming in my office. She's screaming in her new office.
I know.
Come on, y'all.
I'm coming to the office, Tamika.
Listen.
But I remember that,
Theron.
Yolanda Townsend.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that word. Okay, we'll talk later.
Listen, y'all.
Yeah, we'll talk later.
God.
Don't limit God.
God wants y'all to have his kind of success.
Come on.
In every area of your life. And let me say this. If you are in the Atlanta area, I'm going to be doing something on Wednesday. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Tuesday. Called Wisdom, Wealth, and Winddown. Wisdom, Wealth, and Winddown. It is going to be at the retreat center. And if that's something you're interested in coming in, we're going to talk about wealth. We're going to have some 6- and 7-figure earners. We're going to have a real conversation, because even when people are getting money,
That's
they're
14.
Yes, okay. They're losing the money because they don't have the wisdom to know what to do with and to seek the counsel of God. This is not going to be a church service. It's not that. We're going to get in an atmosphere where you get an opportunity to be around wealthy others. Some of the names they have called and they've said, I'm not going to tell them who it is, because if you ain't called it yesterday, I talked about who what some people is. They called and they said, can I bring them? They're my neighbors from about they actually my neighbors from the last house we lived in.
Right.
But we're still in the vicinity. And they are household names that you guys know very, very well. Yeah, very well. The whole country knows very well. But guess what?
Oh, shoot, the world.
Yeah, I guess you would. Yeah.
Come.
Yeah.
Listen.
So here's the thing. I'm hoping that they come. They said they were going to come, and I didn't even ask. Someone that knew them said, can I bring them? See, listen. And that's another 7-figure earner. We're going to come together. We're going to talk wealth. We're going to talk wisdom. We're going to wind down our minds so that we can receive. Because if you're not around people who have a level of success in that area of life, you won't know how to do it. I did not get around people when I needed to put my marriage together who was always talking about, I can't stand that. No, I got around people that says you can have a non-dysfunctional marriage. You can have a marriage where you don't argue.
Ooh.
Yes, honey.
Listen, this is the last thing I want to say to you. We talked about that 1%. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I posted on Facebook last week.
Mm-hmm.
I said I asked God to change my circle of influence.
Yes, I remember that.
And I said He gave me a pinhole. I went from a circle to a pinhole. This is what God showed me. He said the reason I gave you a pinhole is because only a pinhole size of people believe what I'm telling you to believe me for.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Yeah.
So He changed. He did exactly what I asked Him to do. And so He said, this is the part that we have to understand. There's something about the remnant is more than just people who have a spiritual tune in to
Right.
God. There's a whole fullness of life that the remnant have access to.
That's
And
right.
That's what makes you a remnant, because you're unusual, you're unique. Do you guys know when you cut carpet, you know what they call those pieces they cut off?
The remnant.
The remnant. And do you know that people have taken the remnant and created pieces of art and carpet?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what a work of art you are? If you are if the tapping in of the 1%, you are a piece of work. You are an art piece of God. You're a thought that He artistically put together, and these pieces of remnant, that the 1%, He's putting them artistically together and creating this masterpiece that other people are going to say, wow, I want that.
Can I tell you something? A little known fact, if you guys don't know, get a chance to look up sculpted carpet. Sculpted carpet is some of the most expensive carpet. Just look, pull up sculpted carpet on it on images. Sculpted carpet is when they take the remnants and they actually they do is different shapes and they can make different shapes. Like the you see this wallpaper, this the darker gray would end up being one carpet and then the outside will be another. That is some of the most, not talking about rugs, that is some of the most expensive handmade artwork rugs that you can make. Y'all see this sculpted carpet? You see this? Oh, this is not even. This is not even. Girl, put in floor. Calla lily sculpted carpet. I was going to get a sculpted carpet. That thing was almost $15,000 with a remnant. Yes, it's cheaper to get a whole row. But see, here's the thing: you have to understand that God is raising up people. That you might say it's easier to be around a whole pool, but the whole pool, that's it. The whole pool may not have what God wants to give to you. God has some serious people around you that you may not even know that they're around you right now. That you turning your nose up, you sitting in Kroger's and you in the same aisle with the ice cream or the same aisle with the bread, and you may not think it. You guys have access to me. Now, as a coach, you got to pay me. But there's certain people that I am allowing to have access to me if I know that you're actually going to sit down and learn and listen and apply. See, one of the reasons, that's sculpted carpet. That's sculpted carpet. And I promise you,
out of
that
remnants, pieces
out
of
of
carpet.
remnants. I promise you that God already has the people around you to take you by the hand and say, listen, girl, we got this. Yesterday, when we was doing some of the product shoots for Madam CEO Cosmetics, she just grabbed me and hugged me. She said, we doing this. I'm so proud of you, sissy. And I said, she said it the other day on the live. I said, we're going to do this together. No, she's not part of the cosmetic line, but she has her own goals. You have to understand that God will uniquely put you around people who are insecure, who got wisdom. I can give her $10,000. But if I can give her $10,000 and not give her no information. But if I can sit down,
I need info.
if I can sit down and teach her how to make her own $10,000 in a week, which would she prefer?
Because I need that to be residual.
That's right. You need to be able to reproduce it,
right.
not just eat one time. And so God is positioning people around you, and you can't go in thinking, I know everything. When I had my meeting with Dr. China, I didn't go in God specific. He said, I know that's your girlfriend, but go in, write notes, shut your mouth, and don't say nothing.
Listen.
And you know what I did? And it changed my whole dang on finances in one day. And that's somebody I had known for 4 years.
As long as we've known each other, because we went from knowing of each other to knowing each
Right.
other. And now we know each other.
Right.
And every time she opens her mouth, I listen. But here's the funny part. I noticed this about you the other day.
What I do?
She listened to me.
I sure do.
And
I know
said,
wisdom when I hear it.
I said, well, dang. Look at this. So here's the thing that we have to realize, and this is what's happening to some of you right now. There is an anointing exchange. That's why y'all jumping in your offices, and that's why you're losing your mind and everything. There's an exchange. God is giving an exchange of an anointing that you need to get you to this next level. I'm doing a 60-day journey called Accountability Now, which means from the moment you say yes, you need to be held accountable to what you say yes to.
Yes.
You should be consistent. You have to be on your game. You have to study if that's what you need to do. You need to go to class. If you get an accreditation, whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing, you need to start doing that right now. Okay? And no, we don't hold people's hands.
No.
We don't call you on the phone and say, did you go do what you're supposed? We're not doing that. What we're saying is be accountable to what you're agreeing to, because that's the key to success. And so whenever she says something to me, I agree with it, and then I make myself accountable to make a shift. Okay? Now, I got a line coming out, and I said, oh, I wanted to do it just like that. She said, we're going to do this thing together. Okay? So what do? You find someone that is just as accountable as you are and team up with that person. Quit trying to be the Lone Ranger.
That's right.
And do it all by yourself. If you got to pay $3,000 for coaching, you better do it. Dr. Cindy Trim told me she sat down with somebody, Einstein or somebody, in the lineage of Einstein, and paid massive change to sit down in front of that man and learn some stuff. Do you know right now I think she's going to Harvard or Yale or one of those colleges now? So you never stop learning. You have take the access that's given to you, and please stop talking about, I don't want to spend this amount of money on coaching. I don't want to spend that amount of money. Because if you have the same wisdom and knowledge that people will pay you for, you do the same thing.
And that's it.
So go ahead and pull out your gift. Go ahead and pull out your seed. Go ahead and find that mentor. If Tier's your mentor, look, then fine. She's available. What you got coming up?
That's
In a
the
minute?
Mentoring Institute. It starts on the 5th of next month.
Yeah.
And it's $39. You get to get
Come on, y'all.
$39 a month.
Come on. You spend that on makeup and hair and lunch.
Well, not Madam CEO Cosmetics. You can get one. You can
You
get
probably
one.
get a palette.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's about it.
but here's the thing. God is putting you around the right people. We got to go way over time, but God is putting you around the right people. You just have to ask God, God, open up my eyes that I can see. Help me have the level of faith that matches the imagination that you have given me. And help me not abandon the dream. So when I see other people doing stuff that resonates with me, I know that you have not shown it to me to dangle it as a carrot in front of me. But actually what you have done, you have allowed me
you
to
can
see
say that
what's
again.
accessible to me, because you are no respecter of persons. And if I apply what it is, the wisdom that I can sit down and say, how did you get it? Not why they got it, but how did you get it? And you take those same principles, you'll be just like Peter when he went out again and had a boat sinking, net breaking supply of what was necessary so that he and his family and others can survive
He
and
was a
live.
blessing to others as well. He was
Right.
that's
That's
fine.
right.
They mean
That's
the overflow.
listen, Jamie, that's right. If you're not coachable, you're not already ready. You're not ready. And so here's the thing. You're already lost. Here's the thing. We have to make a decision. And let's do it today. Let's do it today.
Be accountable right
Let's
now.
listen. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna go and I'm going to visit on the canvas of my imagination some of the goals and dreams, and let me see if it's what I really want to do now. And then I'm going to pick one or two. You ain't got to just pick one or two that I say in the next 3 or 4 months. This is what is this? August, September, October, November, December. You in the next 4 months. You can say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be accountable to learning everything, the research and development part, the research. I'm gonna learn everything that I can. I'm gonna find out somebody that's doing this successfully, not just talking about it, that got receipts. And I'm gonna ask them, can I have access to them? And even if I can't find that person, I know how to Google. I know how to, and you don't just Google anybody. You Google and you check their track record first. And then you say, I'm gonna watch them, the Zig Ziglars of the world.
Listen, stop reading Ebony magazine. It's nice, but go get what is that, business magazine? There's business magazines that we don't even read because
Nope.
one, we don't like to read.
Inc is a power. Bloomberg. We have to learn how to do what other people have done so that we can get what they get, so that we can begin to enjoy the other part of life that money does not restrict us from having. So I will say this, and we're going to get off. I know that God wants to reposition you. I know that he does, but it first starts off with you having a change of mind and knowing that his best is not only possible, it's a requirement, because when you stand before him, you want him to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You want him to say, well done. You want him to say, well done. Let me say it again. You want him to say, well done, about I got in the face of the people that you told me to do. I obeyed. I believed you for healing. I decided my marriage is not going to be dysfunctional. I decided I was going to be a light to the world. I decided I was going to pursue my dreams, my ambitions. I decided I was going to start that business. I decided I was going to start that daycare. I decided I was going to start that ministry. I decided I was going to start that homeless shelter. I decided, I made a choice today. And God, I am believing you that you will allow me to partner with you for kingdom expansion and supernatural success. And the same level of success and favor that you gave to Cyrus, the same level of success and favor you gave to Bishop, the same level of success and favor that you've given to so many people that I can watch on television. God, if it's for real, it's for me. And I want it, and I don't want just a little bit. I want it all, because I want you to help me to see what you see and give me the strategies to pursue what you say pursue. And I won't get ahead of you. I won't even ask you how. I'll just say, God, when? Where are we going? Tell me where to show up and I'll go. God, here I am. Send me. And that's the beginning of all things. So start reprogramming your mind so you can begin to access the success of God. And I know we've gone over, and I'll do part 2 tomorrow of this, but I just wanted to begin to put this in your ear and your heart so you guys can understand that more is out here. You can have God's absolute best, and he needs you to have it because that's what he's going to say, well done to. He wants you to maximize everything that supernaturally and genetically he's placed on the inside of you, the things he's exposed to you. Don't think you can't do it. He's not dangling a carrot. This is not about you being worthy. This is not about you auditioning. You know what this is about? This is about you trusting that he knows exactly what he put you here on the earth to produce. And you saying, you know what, God, I don't have to know how. All I know is that I and you, we're going to be one in this, and I'm going to do what you said. So when I enter into your presence every day, you're going to say, daughter, son, and you, I am well pleased. So guys, listen, this has been fun. I am Bishop Tira McQuarrie.
Hey, it's Crystal, Apostle Crystal, whatever.
And we just want to thank you for allowing us to stretch you in your faith this morning. Please make sure if you have not sown a seed, and if this was a blessing to you, and I know that it was, go on and sow a seed. You can use the Cash App, and that is the $, the name Tyer, Tyer, or you can go to paypal.me/Tira McQuarrie. But anyway, the information is in the comments as well as the description of this video. I want to say thank you all for joining me. And again, if you are wanting to come to the Wisdom, Wealth, and Winddown here in Gwinnett County in Atlanta, Gwinnett County, Georgia, on next Tuesday at 8:00 p.m. You want an invitation, please make sure that you get in touch with me. You can inbox me or you can email me at madamceoatl@gmail.com. And we're going to be prayerful about who we have to come. And just know this. This is a great season for you. I expect you to maximize it, and so does God. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.